Oh boy, I got off about a little bit over 2 hours ago. Um, in the past, I've always had it to where I would start, or rather, I would always tell them, "Hey, I cannot work on Saturday. This is like the one day of the whole week where I just do not want to work. Period, under any circumstance." But as I mentioned before, they cut everyone's hours and had me for some weeks as low as 10, and now they're so I was like really desperate is what I'm getting at or conveying. And when I was sitting here and just kind of looking at some of the schedules that they listed, I applied to take a shift on, today rather, a few days back. And I kept refreshing the page to see if they would approve it because I figured, I said, there's no way they're going to turn down somebody willing to work on the weekend. That's the period where it appears that it's the hardest for them to get someone that wants to work. And sure enough, they approved it, and they also surprised me where I didn't even apply for anything on Friday. They just gave me an extra shift for yesterday, so I was like, okay, whatever. Oh, but I mentioned that to say that this is going to be a really busy weekend for me. I mean, you go to work at 6 o'clock. Well, you have to go in at 6 o'clock, but you leave at 4 to make sure you're there on time because the place is over an hour away. Then after getting off anywhere from 1 to 3 in the morning, usually 1, but sometimes as late as 3, you have to get home, go to sleep, and then wake up early enough to drive over there to be there by 2 o'clock in the afternoon the next day. Oh boy. The only thing I can hope for is that we finish early today, which I don't think we will. It's kind of funny when they had me come in at 5, because they really do not want to give a non-manager overtime. I got to leave at a little bit after 1 or like 1 something, and I was so happy. I said, "Yeah, it feels nice to have them shaking in their boots. Oh, you can go, you can lock out." They don't want to give that overtime, man. That's the thing that they try as hard as they can to dodge and duck and jump away from, and it's really comical actually just how much they're willing to you know stave off paying somebody some more money. But yeah, 3 straight days of work, and then Monday I don't even actually get a day off technically because I have this appointment with the dentist. Then Tuesday more work, and then I finally get some days to rest a little bit, assuming they don't add anything else. Oh boy, I took the whole damn top off. Yesterday, or rather this, yeah, yesterday morning, I didn't go to sleep until about 5 a.m. and I was having this toothache, and I throughout the day only ate twice. Actually, technically only once. I ate some soup 4 in the morning yesterday, and then after I got up, I didn't eat anything else until like some leftovers from the job when I came back here a few hours ago. Uh, and it's very rare for me to just have a day where I only eat one time, but that was the case. I think it had more to do with somebody doing something that disgusted me to where my whole appetite seemed to just evaporate. But yeah, I only ate once throughout the whole day, and I didn't even really feel that hungry until about 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, like towards the latter part of the day. And I said to myself, "Wow, it's really been 20 something hours since I ate." I That's a because usually I skip breakfast. Um, Sometimes deliberate, most of the time deliberately, but also sometimes in recent times because I tend to sleep during the morning because most of my shifts tend to be in the afternoon or evening. So I usually just take that whole first meal and throw it out, which means it generally falls on lunch and dinner to sustain me throughout the rest of the day. And man, they were not around yesterday. They flew the coop. I said you had one meal at 4 a.m. and then nothing else for the rest of the day. I was surprised. I was like, I just don't feel hungry. I don't know if it was the toothache or the fact that after roughly 5 hours of me being awake, I discovered something that grossed me out so much I didn't even want to eat anything. But man, it's just it's interesting to think of how like bodies are composed where people oftentimes eat so much and then some people just don't eat at all. Uh, but I wasn't too upset because at least that means I have stuff that's gonna last longer. I usually get enough food for the week. I've been doing that for years now, where I just get enough food that I think will last me throughout the whole week, and it looks like it's definitely gonna last now. Oh boy, yeah, going back up there today is going to be a real fascinating sight to behold. I tell you. I guess if I were to assign one good thing to this new period, it does seem that some of the more colder coworkers are more receptive to me. I had this one manager that I mentioned like only ever said hi to me once in 3 months, and the last two times I've been there, they've also been there. They've actually spoken to me multiple times, which has taken me aback. I mentioned this to one of my relatives. They said that I probably proved my worth at this point. But if I were to say one good thing has come out of my continued working there, it's that I suppose. And like I said, anytime you do something for a continued period, you feel more comfortable with it because you're not as when you're new with something, it's always that initial worry. Um, as LBJ said, you have to break the virginity of something to you know show that it can be done, which actually is a good belief system. That once you do that first part of it, it shows it's possible to do, and it doesn't feel like this abstract thing that maybe you thought was good or interesting, but you just can't get to. Like if I write a script for a show and I really like the script for the first episode, um, it encouraged me to do a second one. And then if I like the second one, third one, fourth one, fifth, just go on and on and on. Usually I'll start planning out like, okay, how is this going to go? Right? How are we going to start and end this? And then, figure out the pieces in the middle. But I've also noticed that if you make the first episode or otherwise the first entry, um, doing, two, three, four, five other installments of it does become easier because it's no longer just this thing that you'd like to do in your mind. It's like you physically can see what has come out of it. It exists not as an abstract concept anymore, which is something I can appreciate and get behind. And it's hard to write stuff. It really is. I've had so many times where I've started writing some script and I just months later I'm like, okay, I like most of this. There's something that still feels off. This character doesn't have enough lines. This isn't explained as much as it probably should be. Yeah, I just writer's block is no fun. That's all I can say. It's one of the most frustrating things of even trying to create anything when you have an idea of how something is supposed to be or how you would like to see it progress, but you just for whatever reason you can't put it into words. I mean, I've had one script since this summer that I still haven't like finished. It's I keep saying it's mostly finished. Like I'm gonna come back to it, but I just can't. It's like there's something there where I don't. I like a lot of parts of it, but there's like something missing in it. Is what I'm getting at. And I've read over it a few times. I just, maybe I'll come back to it at some point. And I really like the idea. Just again, it's rather the concept that kind of has me just sort of, okay, how can we make this more of what I'd like? How can we make this feel like we're throwing out all the stops? God, I remember just the first time I ever tried to like make a show, and thinking about how I wrote maybe 8 or 9 different versions of the first episode. And man, it was like the only thing you could get that was consistent was the main characters have powers, and that was it. Characters were some were in one pilot, others were excluded. And I just said to myself, it's crazy how you can just keep rewriting this idea and nothing sticks. And then one day I got a few VAs and I said, I'm gonna write this on the basis of just having a few people. And that was what finally caused it to no longer be a problem. Yeah, things are irritating sometimes, just the way people are. And man, I swear I've had so many instances where I just want to make something and I can't do it. Um, like I'm still trying to do Johnson Part 5. It's just I have to go through like 2 different books, and I'm trying to squeeze stuff from both of them in there. And FDR Part 2 is waiting on the back burner. That script is like 80 something percent done, but I just have to read through it and have a few more pages to insert. So there's a lot of stuff that just you want to do it, you'd like to do it, but you just either you don't have the time or there's something else going on. And in my case, it really is. It's just like every day, drive here, drive there, go here. But again, when you want to do something, you try to make it happen. And that's exactly what I intend to do. Man, I was thinking about how when I first started there, it was like exploring the unknown, right? New workplace, all these different people, and how you knew that progressively you were going to run into some people where your personalities just don't get along or whatever. Um, and I thought at worst, you know, just don't bother the person, speak to them when spoken to. It's like you can really just get in trouble over anything. I mean, somebody can just say, "Oh, you looked at them this way or stood by them," and you can get in trouble for it. Um, and it drives me crazy as someone who, as an adult who's had his period of being homeless, for example. I take employment very seriously. It's why I'm always on time. It's why, generally speaking, I comply with pretty much every order that's given to me, unless it's something that I just cannot, like, physically cannot do. Um, but God, I think some people really just have jobs as like a joke. Like they work, right? They have a job, in quotations, but it's not really something they're serious about. It's not something that they're actually sticking with. Like in being there for just what's now getting ready to be a third of a year, I've seen so many people like come and go. And even the ones that have been there not even that much longer than me, maybe like one guy said he was there for 6 months. He's talking about putting in his 2 weeks, and this other one is saying that he's close to quit. And I'm just like, I get it as far as people don't want to just work the same thing for the rest of their life. I completely understand that, but it's like, damn, I mean, I wouldn't start talking about Like, the things that would make me most wanna quit a job is if I found something else that I think is better and I feel secure at that other place as well, or if I was just completely sick of everything relating to it. And there are parts I really don't like, um, but, as has been described to others, with every job, there's things you don't like about it, and, I just don't see where it's productive to be like, "Alright, well, this thing is getting on my nerves, so time to go work somewhere else." I said, "Hell, at that point, we're never gonna stop doing." Because I really don't wanna keep doing the revolving chair thing of, like, work this job, work that job, work this job, work that job. Oh, boy. Just imagine somebody complaining, "Oh, you were drinking on stream." You know how much weird stuff I've seen people do on streams? I saw one person fall asleep on their stream. I saw another person where they, like, joined like, a voice call on Discord and literally just sat there watching TV. Like, they're people just they're always looking for something to complain about. Doesn't matter what you do, how you do it, there will always be a person complaining no matter what. That's why I say I wouldn't even try to get involved with this stuff. But it's not easy to you know, make content and just kind of keep going through the motions because a lot of us, we are motivated based off of if people watch stuff, if they respond to it. And if you're someone who just wants to do this to make money, it can be a hassle. Because the one thing I know about online finances is that they're very shaky. And like I've always hated the idea that an employer can just snap their fingers and you're out of here. But when it comes to the internet and just trying to make something off of there, it's extremely flaky. Like I've seen some content creators where they'll get like 10,000 views a day, and then the next day it'll be like 3,000 or 2,000. Just this site is unstable. A lot of other sites are unstable. Um, that's often why you see with a lot of these bigger content creators, they get promotions where no matter if the video gets watched by two people or 200,000 people, they'll still make something off of it from just promoting this product that somebody has. I think that's a lot safer than, oh yeah, if people like me, they're gonna watch me, right? And of course, my favorite channels are the ones where they haven't uploaded more than like twice a year in 3 years because their videos had so many views that they just like retired from making anything ever again, or damn, they're semi-retired. And to me, that's the damnedest thing. It's like you get successful, so now you don't make anything anymore. You just that's it. You're done. Because like you look at a lot of these musicians, the ones that are millionaires or in some cases billionaires, and it's like whether you like their music or not, they don't just stop because they became rich from it. You're not going to see Taylor Swift be like, "Well, I'm 40, so time to have no more albums." That's actually one of the things that was most tragic about Michael Jackson's passing, where before he died, he was having gonna have this like big comeback tour. I think it was "This Is It" is the title, or was the title. Another good example is probably we get the point. It's just you don't see people who actually like what they're doing deciding, well, I'm successful in it, so now I will no longer participate in it at all. It's just like when I was criticizing Obama's post presidency. I said, here's a man who's been out of office for over 6 years, and he has championed no issue. He has not led one single cause. And really, the only significant thing he's done is campaigning against his successor, which he did effectively, but it's still not exactly a retirement that is indicative of what you would expect to see from someone who supposedly is such a compassionate, concerned public advocate for issues. Just fake stuff is what I'm getting at. Like I always mention how with Carter, he went to all these different countries and held elections there and built houses for people with Habitats for Humanity. And you look at his successors, and it's really just they don't even compare. So I said stuff like that is really sad to me. Because a lot of people believe in them and they get a rude wake up call. Sometimes very late, sometimes shortly after the betrayal. Oh, so many books. Now, one of my favorite things about reading is just seeing how different people write and who has a way with words where I think they're actually trying to tell me the truth, and or rather they're telling me like if you can read it and feel as if it's the person speaking to you. No, I'm always fascinated by just all the different voices that exist out there. Because I've seen some authors where they'll write something and I find it funny or distinct, and then there are others where it's like, really, that's what you came up with. Like I mentioned that I'm not even trying to be a partisan person here. The DeSantis book from last year, Courage to Be Free, whatever the title of that thing was, one of the worst books I've read ever out of any of the at least memoirs or ones related to like history and politics. It was it was so deprived of anything that was I would deem as being revealing or candid. It just seemed like it was by the numbers. And then when he's like describing the Fauci and all, it's like I have a hard time believing he actually wrote that. I think it was written by some staffers who thought it was going to help him run for president. We saw that turned out like that book was terrible. And there are plenty of conservatives who write well. I read Condoleezza Rice's, both of her memoirs, the one she did on her time in Alabama, growing up in the segregated South, and then the one from her time in Washington, and both of them were written, I think, very well. Which is why it's all the more crazy that you have the governor of one of the largest states in the country, and they write like that. They write in such a way where you couldn't even tell that it was this man talking. You would think, like again, he just had some staffers. They sat in a room, and they all did this on the computer. Like when I write a script, I have certain phrases I use. I have things that are distinct to me. Um, I've been described as self-deprecating, so there's plenty of things I can say. If I were to write it, this sounds like me. This sounds like what I would put to paper. But a lot of these by the number memoirs and books, they just don't have any original tone to them. No cadence, no nothing. Just printed on paper, and here you go. Put my name on it. That's it. And of course, I know that people have ghostwriters. They have someone that helps them write stuff, but like when I read DeSantis's book from last year, I just couldn't believe that this man had written that because it was so deprived of any individual voice. I'm not even some Mark Levin fan, but his book on the Democrat Party, it's like I believe he wrote that because it reads like he would speak. It is very consistent with all the other books with his name. I don't have any reason to think he just signed off on this. He's been able to cite parts of it in interviews, so it's something where I can even if I'm just being objective, I can say, yeah, he probably wrote that. Hmm. No, I think the biggest weakness of a writer can be a lack of distinction. Anytime you can't figure out what your voice is or what you're trying to say, you're doomed because you have to be able to articulate your position or your story, whichever you're trying to tell, in such a way that's captivating. A lot of writers will just needlessly describe details of rooms and places, and I don't know, some stuff just doesn't seem all that important to me. What's interesting is like I've noticed because I was reading Robert Caro's Years of Lyndon Johnson series. I noticed that he would often describe like, "Hey, this person was a big, tall, large man with, you know, broad shoulders and da da da." It's like I when I read his I and it's one of the reasons why his series is so much better than most of these biographies. I really felt like I was in that era, like the way he would describe things and just kind of verbal, by text paint this picture of the era that he was taking us back. And I said, why is it that more books can't be like that? Like when I read these memoirs, none of these people talk about like, oh man, when I was a kid, I used to love, you know, hanging out with this person and they would always wear this or they would always say that or they would, like it. I hate that when a lot of these people are trying to pretend that they're letting you into their soul or giving you a hint of who they are, they really don't do it in a way that actually describes something. Like if I were describing, me in preschool, for example, I would say I went to this school from first to seventh grade, and they always had us wearing these light blue button-down shirts, and we had these ties. A lot of times, many of the kids wouldn't even wear because they just didn't like it. I used to have this kind of like pullover sweater that I'd put on. Uh, just I would be descriptive. I would make sure to mention all this stuff in a way that was I don't know, I feel like the most successful writers, the ones that I think really have some talent, they can make you feel like you're there. They can just like grab you and make this kind of engaging tale of like this person said this and that person looked angry with, you know, the big vein of their forehead popping out. Like I just think they're able to describe stuff in a way that is more making you, even if it's not intentional, feel like you're there just because of how gripping it is. And some people, I'm not going to say everyone has this like very interesting life or anything, but just there's some stuff that if it's important to you, if it happened to you, whatever, you can look at it and say, yeah, this is significant. Wow. In the heartbeat, I could talk about any of these schools, and if after I described the school, I would say, I was here for this school year, and this was the uniform. We had this many classes. This was our main teacher. She was nice. You know, um, I don't know. I think I'd be able to describe like, hey, this person really stood out to me. I had so much fun with them, and you know, I miss them. I could go into detail about what stood out, what mattered the most, what didn't matter. Um, just being able to describe things can make a story go a long way when you were telling it. Like if I wrote a memoir, I would describe, for example, my grandparents and talk about what kind of stuff they wore and where they were from and where they went to school and how they met and just the general like day-to-day process of how each day would go. One takes you to school in the morning, one takes you to school, picks you up from school in the afternoon. Uh, Same thing with my best friend. I would talk about how where we were when we first met and uh, just the general understanding that we have of each other and how it's different from that of a lot of other people I know. I don't know. I always try to make sure that if I'm going and talking about something, that you'll have some idea of how it would go and not really put any bearing on, okay, is he telling the truth about this? Because a lot of this stuff I have no reason to make it up. I have no reason to say, oh yeah, there was that time where that person beat me up. It wouldn't be something I would do any type of like. There'd be no reason for me to try and pretend it was something different than how it went. In most cases. Oh boy. Mm. Structure is key. Having and knowing the tone, theme, philosophy of a story is very important. What is the writer truly trying to say? Well, that's why I brought up Robert Carroll's LBJ series because as someone who's read multiple biographies of historical figures, I felt that he described things in a more thorough and at the same time engaging way than most other people I've seen have been able to do, where it wasn't just this like by the book retelling. He'll talk about, what suit somebody was wearing, what time of day it was, how dark the room was as this stormy thing approached him. I don't see that in most other writers that I read stuff from. And I was saying that like as I read those books, I understood why they're acclaimed. No, like I remember when I read I believe it was Taylor Branch's Martin Luther King trilogy, and he has this very descriptive way as well. I think it's one of the early chapters where he's talking about the Montgomery bus boycotts and how King was 27 and he would have only 11 years to live, and it's like it's got this really prophetic tone to it where it just from being told from after these things have happened, it kind of lays out this path for him while also giving you details about this person that he was friends with grew up over here, they first met over there. It really, again, it's one of those things where a lot of these books are as acclaimed as they are because you don't have to have some general knowledge of these people to know what's going on. They describe things in such a way as to bring you up to speed but also not distract from whatever the main topic was. Yeah, I'm just saying I appreciate those books a lot because I realized that when you pull something out of a drawer and it just falls. because somebody else has been in there messing with stuff. But no, it makes me really appreciate the different writing style. Well, there's three of them. They have different names. Hell, if I could go in my closet right now, I would pull it out. There's a whole bunch of books on King. I had one of them where I didn't even get to read it because I after I moved, it was like still over at that place. No, people always ask me what the name of a book is, and they don't even read it. So it's like, what was the point? I remember I had, I think it was LBJ volume. It could have been, yeah, it was volume 3. It was Master of the Senate. I had that on. I was like showing it on camera one time. This girl was like, "What book is that?" It's like, why do you care? You don't read, dude. We're at a point where people can't even read 2-minute news articles. You're not sitting through a whole book. So let's not even play that game. Do not waste my time, man. There's people just them and their fake interest. It never stops. No, dealing with this crazy woman on set on what was that Sunday? I was outside reading my book. She came up to me. She's like, "You're reading?" I was like, "You didn't know that people read? What are you reading?" I wouldn't tell her what it was because it's like you could have asked me this. Well, it's that same old thing I hate where they feign interest. No, I would not tell her what it was. What are you reading? None of your damn business. People are just so nosy, man. It's really fascinating. I already know what kind of day it's going to be before it starts. I'm not even kidding. It was incredible to watch people act the way that they are. Just seeing their personalities and how the decision making and just the way it's out of whack. It's interesting. They just tell so many lies and they think nobody catches on to it. Like I sat here with this person. I said, I'm really supposed to not catch on to the fact that when we're around each other, you act like I'm the most interesting person in the world. But then when you clock out or are not working, I can't even get you to respond to me. That's really supposed to be something I don't notice. No, they just think everyone around them is dumb. If you see some of the stunts they try to pull and the things they try to make up, they think everyone around them is just this big idiot. It's crazy. Going up there at 5 instead of 6 felt so nice. They couldn't keep me till 3 in the morning. was like, not gonna work tonight. The guy made sure to come and find me. They made sure. They're like, we're not giving you an extra penny. Even though what it is that a lot of times they just take too long to finish doing things, and they keep like, oh, I forgot about this, and get that, and go there, and get this. So anytime that stuff happens to them, I don't feel bad for them because you guys should just finish this stuff quicker. I haven't said let them run around. No, a lot of mornings I just kind of like my thing is I prefer doing it at this time because I know that no one's gonna come and mess with me because they're asleep. If I try to do it around like 8, 9, 10, 11, at least on a weekend, I don't want to because there's that risk of like, person behind me opens the door or on the side opens the door. And I really just like being at a point where I can just talk and not have to, be concerned about that. So, I'll probably on Monday I'll try to get up early enough, like probably like in the morning to do the stream before I go to my appointment. But I don't want to make any promises. I might decide I like this. Actually, no, I take it back because on Monday I wouldn't be able to since this time actually like overlaps with the time where somebody would like come through and open the door and like, hey, we gotta go get, so I wouldn't do it on Monday at this time anyway. I still can't believe I'm working today and tomorrow. Like they ate up my whole weekend. Tomorrow's not going to be as hard though as today because tomorrow's only 4 hours. They had me for 3 closing periods. Man, those are always my least favorite ones because I always feel like I'm under this pressure and oh, finish this, hurry up, hurry up. They don't do that as much anymore, but it does scare me a bit because people are always willing to fire somebody over anything. So I'm always like actively worried about. I can't stand it when people rush you. And what drives me crazy is like they'll have you do a complete like a whole task by yourself and then be surprised when you can't finish it all in like this 1 hour or this 2 hour period. And they'll see you going as fast as you can, but it's never enough. Like I said, they don't do it as much as they used to, but damn, that was annoying when I started. It was like every night, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Oh, Jedi Master, did you see the train wreck? I hope you saw the video. If you didn't, I'm going to turn into a Sith Master. I have my black robe right in the closet, red lightsaber outside. I'm gonna go grab it, and we'll show you some true terror. It's the newest one. It's like the makeshift sequel to When the World Seemed New. All this stuff with these crazy broads, all just summarized in one video. I'm starting to get Vince flashbacks where I remember that guy came on my stream. He's like, I would recommend that you do this. Like, dude, nobody's gonna sit here and actually listen to that stuff. The only thing that makes somebody get larger on this site is views. That's it. It doesn't matter how pretty your thumbnail is or what kind of shirt you're wearing or how nice your camera quality may be. No, only thing that matters on this site, if you actually want to make it on here, is views. That's what drove me crazy about him. It's like, here's a guy that shows up like maybe once a year and writes some comment on a stream and is like, "Oh, I like your stuff." So I was like, "Then why do you never comment?" I don't get it. It's just weird, man. I said before that a lot of the trolls actually like me more than people who come on my stuff because they comment. They make sure to make their account to leave a nasty reply, and they'll be the first ones to like go and watch a stream. That's actually the most disturbing part to me. That like you hate somebody, but then you know what day they stream, and then you have like a good idea of what time. Because I normally would do it, prior to starting that job around like 10 or 11 in the morning, and it doesn't matter if I do it at you know 5 my time, 8 their time, or 3 my time, 6 their time. They're always ready to watch someone they claim to not like. It's quite an interesting conundrum, isn't it? I just can't make heads or tails of that. No, I'm not even gonna try to like justify it. It's just weird, man. But I don't know. I feel like weird is kind of the word to describe a lot of current things. Just the way people act, some of the stuff that gets released. Like I said, with friends like the ones I described in that video, who needs enemies? Like I really thought it's like the worst somebody can say is no, right? Nope. They can say yes and then backtrack and renege and waste your time. It's just it's incredible how like everything nothing is simple anymore. Nothing is easily explained. Nothing is, you ask for it, you get it, nothing. Just it's all so convoluted. Oh boy. No, when I first started having the pain, I thought it was like the lights messing with my eyes because I've had that in the past. But no, good old toothache. I don't even want to talk about these dentists and how they just, man, these people. You honestly have to be a millionaire to even be able to afford a lot of this stuff because it's like in an era where most people in America can't afford $1,000 emergency. They want you if you want to get like two teeth removed and replaced to spend $4,000. I said, you guys want the equivalent of 2 months of rent for that. 2 months of rent, probably. I think that's about a year's worth of food for me. Let me see. It's about 200, 300 a month. Multiply that by 12. Yeah, that's about, yeah, somewhere from like 2,000, 3,000. Times have seriously changed. Things were so much simpler in the early 2000s. It was just toys, books, movies, TV shows, and video games. No drama, no nonsense. Yeah, I guess I'm just seeing a lot of stuff that's getting on my nerves that wasn't around back then. And Jedi Master, I know that you love the early 2000s. You got your favorite movie, Revenge of the Sith, your favorite singer, Britney Spears. I mean, it was that was the era where you really fell in love with pop culture, and you've been seeing the decline over the last 2 decades. I'm not even kidding. Like I said, the only singer I even hear anybody talking about anymore is Swift. That woman has just she has taken over everything. Like I feel like I can't go one day without hearing something about her. Britney Spears is just like the what is this? The rest of these mainstream hooligans. Seriously. I mean, you say that, but if we went to your house back then, we would have seen a big cutout of her and all her albums scattered around the room, playing one of them each day. So let's not kid ourselves. I tell you, that's what I found so interesting about like singers, where you have all these actors that people just do not know, even if they've seen stuff that they're in. But then you have singers that people have never even listened to any of the damn music of, and they know who they are. How do you explain that? That's why I said fame is so interesting because it's like people who don't even do anything, they're well known. Um, but then it's like people who do something that's like visible to you, you still have no idea who they are. I just find it to be interesting. No, just a bunch of singers and then rappers that like people have never even heard any songs from, but they know who they are, which I just find so because it's like imagine if I knew who Stephen King was and like I've never seen any book, I've never read any book that he wrote, I've never seen any movie or TV show based off of a book that he wrote. Like just that would be weird. Imagine knowing who Michael Moore is, but you've never seen any of his documentaries. Like that's why I said fame is just such a relative nebulous concept in most cases. It's like a thing we can just wave around like, oh, this person is famous. Well, yeah, according to you. Oh man. Yeah, you have a lot of people that are like this though, where they just kind of throw out the idea that someone is important. But even like now, I don't really hear anybody talking about like Beyonce or Rihanna that much either. It's all Taylor. It's a load of rubbish, especially mainstream music. They'll never play soundtrack music in a Starbucks or at the mall. No Hans Zimmer, John Powell, or anything. Yeah, they have like a really limited taste with some of this stuff, unfortunately. I'm not kidding. Like, I don't even hear about any other singers or rappers besides Swift. That lady is just, she has really taken over everything in all seriousness. Like, if I just type her name in right now, there's gonna be like 4 or 5 daily news stories about her. She is all over the damn place, man. It's crazy. I haven't seen somebody this much and heard of someone this much since I think since Tom Holland first came on the scene. Where for a while it just seemed like he was getting cast and all this different stuff, and now he's kind of slowed down a bit. And always shouting behind a glass window every time they showed her she was fangirling for Kels. Literally every time. That's what I thought was so weird that like I get it if someone is going out and giving interviews, they're going out and like putting new music out, but she's not even doing anything. Like she re-recorded a lot of her old songs, because of some dispute with the company that had the masters or whatever. Uh, but it's like I don't even see her anymore doing interviews. Like it's literally just these appearances at some games and a bunch of people just talking about her like nonstop. I haven't seen a Taylor Swift interview in like a year or 2 years. Never she put out that Midnight's album, which I really was not that receptive to, but I digress. And like I said, I'm pretty versatile with my musical taste. Like it's I so and she's had songs and albums in the past I was fine with, so it's not even really like I despise this part. No. I agree. I like some of her songs. What I meant is that I actually have listened to a few albums like all the way through. And even if there's some stuff that I'm not really that much into, there's still like five, six, seven that range from I really like it to it's all right. I turn on every now and again. So that's why I said I know it's not like I just despise this lady and she has no good music. No, I'm just saying that when listened to that newest album, the Midnight's one, it was like, that's it. This is the great return that everybody's saying is so good. Like I really liked what was it, Reputation, that album, but the newer ones I'm not really as receptive to. Watch all her fans get angry if they hear me say that. You must like every song. And she is everywhere, I tell you. I feel like we're really in this. She had her eras tour. We're in the Swift era. Like, God, they've turned this lady into a damn. I didn't want to say a brand. Like you just can't get away from her. I'm serious. I don't see any other singer being talked about anywhere near as much as her. Like, I don't see people talking about Beyonce, Rihanna. Uh, it's just Taylor, 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 Taylor. Just can't get away from her. I'm on after school pottery teaching, and a lot of my students are Swifties. Oh, I'm an after school pottery teacher. Hey, I did quote one of her songs. I was like, you guys keep with the romance videos, like you guys keep saying I'm doing something bad, but why does it feel so good? I'm still laughing at the guy that was tracking her plane, and then his because her lawyer was trying to say that he was stalking her, even though he's using public information and not actually like traveling anywhere she is, because who the hell has money to go to all these different countries unless you're rich? And he was like, "Look what you made me do." I find it funny whenever they are able to take their stuff and like use it on them. It's just, I could really picture him when he gets the letter from her. He's like, "I don't like your little games." No, these after school pottery teachers, they don't have good taste in music. Jem has a lot of nerve. Jem, I don't even want to say anything to you because I feel like at this point you're playing with me. I did this documentary a month ago and I still haven't received a comment from you on it. And it's driven me to the point where I'm not even gonna do part two. I'm gonna have one part and that'll be it. And then I'll do Johnson part five, and then that'll I'll probably finish Johnson, maybe have it be 8, 9, 10 parts in total. Uh but that'll be the only one I do all the way through because I tried to do somebody else and I got no reward for it. I got ignored for it rather. That was my reward. I got the reward of being ignored. So man, I wish no it's not. That's why you won't comment on part one. It's sad too because FDR is actually easier to do than Johnson by virtue of no, you didn't, John Master. Come on, don't mess with me. But what's really sad is that it's easier to do FDR than Johnson because most biographies of Roosevelt are linear. Like you get the first and second term about the New Deal and getting out of depression, and then when you get to that third one, it's really just entirely focused, along with the fourth one, on the Second World War. Whereas with Johnson, a lot of stuff pertaining to him either does Vietnam as a separate section in and of itself, or it like flips between that and the domestic stuff. So it's unfortunate that I'm not all the way through, but I did see a bit of part one and two. Yeah. John Master, you're not very good at being a comedian. I suggest you stop it. I'd sooner believe in Santa than that you just randomly watch some documentaries on a subject you're not even that into. Come on, don't play with me. Give me a break. What did Tommy Wiseau say in the room? You must be kidding. Nah, Jem, this woman is just. I don't even want to say what else she did after Sunday. I feel like Sunday was just the perfect note to end it on. She comes and sits by me, um, as if she wants to talk, stares at her phone the entire time that I speak to her. I tell her point blank, I'm done with you. This is going nowhere. You don't have to worry about me sending you any more messages. And she gets up and storms away. I said she rage quit because it's like you're supposed to be out there for 10 minutes, but you only talk to me for seven. Uh, and man, what I'm not gonna say it because I feel like there's always this internet group of guys that just persecutes me over these stupid chicks, no matter what I say. But I feel very betrayed after that. Not by the act of like walking away, but just how she responded afterward. It's really it's unfortunate that when you try to actually talk to someone like an adult, right, and air out whatever grievances you may have with them, um, in a way that is not, it's not yelling, you're not like telling them off. They just can't. They're not receptive to it because the way these modern women are is that they are never meant to be accountable for the things that they do. Look, as a kid who was homeschooled and went to more historical field trips than you can count, especially ones Philadelphia. I'm very intrigued in the topic of history. I didn't even know you were from Philadelphia. Is that where you were born and raised? And was the playground where you spent most of your days? I'm not kidding, man. She really left me heartbroken after something else she did later this week. I only found out about it yesterday, and I'm telling you, man, I just it's funny to think about how like I thought I did something wrong. Maybe I'd been too mean, harsh, right? When I was like responding to her blowing me off after the "we're going as friends" right stream. But my only mistake was in trying to um, relitigate things with her. These women cannot be trusted. Oh, I know that now, absolutely, after what she did. But I'm just saying to you that the trajectory of this stuff is just so weird to me. Like to go from being on good terms with someone for months, right? When you talk to them, you enjoy speaking to them, to then like blowing them off and then being mad at them for being mad at you and then reconciling with them and making it seem like you've abandoned all your wicked ways to then, going back to not speaking to them again. And like, dude, this time I have no desire to try and reconcile with her because she did something that makes me want to vomit. Like you got to be an evil bastard to do what she did. I'm not even saying to be funny. I still can't believe it. But like I said, they don't care. To them, everything is just this big joke. The mere fact that she ignored you for a week, knowing you were anticipating a response. Dude, imagine what I would look like if I saw you sitting outside and I came to sit by you and then you try to like confront me over, whatever, but you do it in a way where you're not yelling at me, you're just kind of saying, hey, I get it, I know you don't like speaking to me, and I get so mad that I like storm away. It's like, but in between then, I'm me coming up to you and storming away, I'm also like staring at my phone. Like it's just there's so much irony in the idea that you like she perceived me as being rude for really just coming out and saying, look, this is going nowhere and I know it's going nowhere, when I thought it was rude to come and sit by somebody like you actually want to talk to them, and then the whole time that you're sitting with them, you're doing this. This is her the entire time I spoke to her. This. Yeah. What the hell? We're good. Just weird, man. Dude, I ignore females at this point. I can't stand this sort of behavior. I'm gonna do that for my whole stream. I'm not even gonna look at the comment section. I'm just gonna just be like this. Just staring at that damn phone. And like I said, the entire time we spoke, damn near, she looked at me maybe 2 or 3 times, and that was it. That's why I said in the video, I wish she stared at me half as much as she stared at that phone. Maybe I'd actually think she liked me. Shoot, give me a long, interested look for 7 minutes straight. I'd love to see that. It's just weird, man. Just really weird. No, I was telling Jem that we need to go over his favorite president sooner than later. Make sure he gets his just desserts. We have to we have to go back to the 2000s with one of the most consequential figures from the era. I now work from home, but before I was in New York office with tons of chicks. I avoided them like the plague. Well, I told you before that if I do any of the ones between Reagan and Biden, it would probably be actually let me rephrase that. Between Clinton and Biden, it would probably be Bush, because I do think he's the most objectively important of that group by far. Like, the war on terror transformed the United States in ways that it's never been able to come back from. Oh yeah. Remember, we like to do these in twos, right? So we did, FDR and LBJ together, and then I would imagine I'd like to do at least, because the way it's supposed to be is that Johnson is like the big focus. Oh yeah, Bush 41 presided over the fall of the Berlin Wall and the collapse of the Soviet Union. Yeah, I would never dispute his importance. Trust me, I'd much rather talk about him than Reagan, but that's, I digress. Are you a fan of Jeb? Is that a joke? Please clap. Yeah, Jeb. You put Jen. Are you sure that was a typo? But no, I was saying we do these in twos, so I probably if you do Roosevelt with Johnson and then you do Nixon and Carter, which is probably ideally those would be the two I would do after or even before finishing the other two. I'd imagine you would do Bush with, I don't want to do him with his dad because that's whatever. Probably with your other hero. Hey, why not? You do a Secretary of State as well. Oh no, not Obama, because that's, dude. Like, I tried about maybe 5 or 6 years ago to do the Obama documentary. That thing, it's so like I have no problem doing 12 hours on Johnson or possibly even longer because that's one of my favorite presidents. But I don't have the stamina to have to because there's no like actual accredited book for Bush or Obama or Trump or I don't have the stamina to do Obama uh and Bush together. Like it would just be too damn long for if where you're talking about just if you're just talking about like the presidency by itself, that's got to be at a minimum of like 6 hours. I'm not even saying to be funny if you're talking about like all the different policies and oh my god, we would be there for a while. No, Bush Rice. I probably would pair I mean, hey, Haley actually would not be out of the realm of possibility because the only period of her life that might be a little bit tough to get information on is probably when she was governor of South Carolina, because that's mostly like news sources. She wrote a memoir only like a year into her term. It was one of the stupidest things I've ever seen, where it's like you haven't even done anything yet, but you're gonna write a memoir, whatever. But yeah, she's a possibility, I guess. Even though, I mean, after exiting the race, it's like, what is her relevance now? I mean, just look at Hillary's relevance. This lady could have been the first female president, and now all she does is just give interviews like every 8 months, talking trash about more successful people. Now we're gonna do two of your heroes together. Rice's memoir is actually really good. I'm surprised that I have that one and oh the other one. No ordinary was it extraordinary ordinary people. A book is a given for all politicians. It's a cash cow. I told you it's getting harder to think of politicians who don't have books. Like, because I told you what it is they win these offices and it increases their name recognition. And then they look for a way to like stretch out more money from being more famous, which is actually one of the crazier things to me. Like, how the hell do you just. Oh, yeah, she's very smart. Dude, I'm not even kidding. She might actually be my favorite Secretary of State. I'm not even trying to like be funny. Like that's a low bar, but at least I like the modern ones anyway. But it's like most of the Bush era screw ups, like the Iraq War, started while Powell was in that position, and she kind of just inherited the mess. How crazy is that? Like one of the worst American presidents is one of like the more decent secretaries of state. It's kind of that's crazy to me because like I'm a big like Nixon apologist, right? Like I say that he was very important and but with the creation of the EPA and then relations with China, but I'm not going to defend Kissinger. Clinton would ostensibly of the two. Clinton undid ostensibly of the two. Yeah, we don't talk about Hillary anymore after 2016. She's gone. She's dust. Now she's been usurped by what was it, Gillibrand from New York? That's new Hillary. Oh, they destroyed Libya. Gaddafi was like really obsessed with rice. That was one of my favorite anecdotes from her memoir, just like how he had this whole folder of pictures. Dude, Hillary is just another politician that stands for nothing. I'm not even kidding. Like, I was watching some of her 2008 speeches, and I was disturbed by how she tried to sound so progressive. We're going to have a single payer healthcare system like Harry Truman envisioned. It's like, lady, you're the same person that was fine with calling the actual person who supports a single payer system, Sanders, a socialist for wanting that. Just crazy, man. I heard your girl Cookie Monster. Oh, you mean cinema, right? It was music to my ears. Time to donate to the Carrie Lake campaign. Give her a few dollars so she can stop saying the election is rigged or stolen. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about cinema because she also announced that she was stepping down or not going to run for re-election, which had me, going like that. But no, man, the mission for this year is to do a few more documentaries, do some little community stuff, and then we can try that campaign again next year and actually be on the ballot this time. Um, I just thought that like less than 2 month window was just too short. But yeah, the way these documentaries work is it's like two people together, so I never get like sick of this one person just over and over. Um, Victoria is responsible for the Ukraine. Oh, of course, the media won't tell you that. It's all evil Putin, evil, sinister villain Putin. No, if I was going to do Obama, it would have to be with Hillary would make sense, but then it's like also kind of crazy to do her and not do Bill. Um, hmm. Yeah, I'd have to think more about it. I just know there's certain people where I already know who I'd stick them with. Like, if I were to do Martin Luther King, it would be Robert Kennedy. They would be together because the assassinations that are like less than 2 months apart, or rather, yeah, just 2 months apart, that link them together forever. And certain people are easier to figure out who I do them with, as long as you do them as friend. Well, I mean, I'm not using anything that's not like I have Arthur Schlesinger's RFK book from I think it was 78. This was an accredited book that his friend wrote on him at the request of his widow. So, there's nothing in there that hasn't already been approved and discussed. And uh yeah, Jedi Master, the way I do documentaries is it's two historical figures together. So you have Roosevelt and Johnson, then you have eventually Nixon and Carter, and then it's always twos where there's some kind of like theme, right? Where it's like they have like a thing in common with each other. No, I'm sorry. You doing Johnson without FDR or FDR without Johnson is to deny the New Deal bridge that extended for 30 years between the pair. It's like I'm really going to talk about the president that made Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, Voting Rights Act, and the Civil Rights Act and not bring up the one that did the Social Security. Uh, like, like really? Okay, but I'm saying in the realm of domestic programs that are still around to this day, the two of them really are unparalleled. Like I would absolutely do if I weren't in such a big rush to get to Nixon because that's the only president born in my home state, I would probably do Truman with Carter because Truman was it is Carter's favorite president. That was his hero. Oh, do Obama with Ted Kennedy, which actually makes a bit of sense because his endorsement is considered one of the big turning factors in the 2008 primary that helped him to win. Like his endorsement and Oprah's were like the biggest that he was able to get at that time. No, I would probably do Truman with Eisenhower because it's like in that same era. I just know I wouldn't do JFK. That's you're never getting me to do that. They talk about him enough. So the hell with that. You think I'm kidding? I have like a list, and if there were a bottom of it, Kennedy would be all the way down there in terms of like who I desire to do one of these on. I have no interest. He'll get some shine in the Johnson one, and that's it. I assume you have the day off for. Oh no, I go in at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. But because lovely 2 hour drive, 4 o'clock is when I leave. 4 p.m. That's why I'm doing the stream as early as I am so that I can like do this with no interruptions and then go to sleep. This is dude. I requested Saturday because I tell you they cut my hours, so I was like, oh damn. It really is probably oh my god, one way. It's really about an hour drive, but that traffic, it can turn that drive from when it's no traffic, it's like 30 minutes on the freeway. When it's a bunch of traffic, it's an hour and a half. So I try to play it safe because if you end up being late, it's something they will not tolerate. Oh, Megumi, let me tell you about your amazing woman and what she did. Uh, so Sunday I was working and I worked for 4 hours. I got off at 6, and she was there. She got there at 5 o'clock. I normally just immediately get in my car and drive back home, but I didn't like the traffic that night. They had so many cars jammed to where when you walk down the street, you're seeing like vehicles all bumper for bumper. So I crossed street to go to my car, pick up a book. Not this one, but just pretend it is. So I'm sitting there at this table and I'm reading the book, and it's like time passes me by because I'm really immersed in the book's 1,000 pages long. I read like 200 of them in an hour and a half or in about an hour plus. And all of a sudden I see or rather, excuse me, I hear, "You're reading?" And I look up and I see our amazing, not very social kind of person. Well, my nickname for her is probably going to be the Queen of Mixed Signals Queen. So Mixed Signals Queen comes up to me, and sits down. I'm like, you didn't know that people read? Because it just, I thought it was weird that she was so shocked to see me reading. I mean, I only don't read at work because it's like I don't have the time to do, you know. Um, so she sits at the chair. Jem said the magic sentence as if she really cares. And guess what? I said to her when she starts asking me, "What do you read?" I'm like, "Why? I can't be curious." Like, no, if you were curious, you would actually have, send me a message or written something to me outside when we're clocked in. I didn't say clocked in, but I said, "Hey, you would send me a message about it," or something to that effect. Which again is me like tying it back to the fact that she's so fascinated, right? When you're at work with her, but outside of work, you might as well be dead. Um, so we speak for 7 minutes, and in that entire 7 minutes, she has her head turned to me like this, staring at her goddamn phone, and it's really annoying me. I think it's very stupid to come and sit by somebody like you want to talk to them. She does not give a. It's just being there. I know, I know. Oh, Megumi, you'll love this. So I told her, and you don't have to believe me, but I pledged you. This is what I said. I told her that she found me amusing for a while, but the one thing she loves more than a friend is to see a friend fail, fall, die trying. In spite of everything she told me, eventually she hated me, and she's like, "What the hell?" Because and again has her head turned. Matter of fact, I should do it. I should just do the same for. Has her head turned like this, staring at the phone. And I told her do the face. And she's like, "What face? Like the one that you made on Sunday?" Um, and she's like, "Oh, no." I'm like, Why not?" Like, because I don't feel like it. And of course, remember when I'm doing this to you, she still has her head turned like this, like not actually looking at me as I'm making this request. And I told her because I mentioned like that roach message, dude. This conversation was me just like this with her because I didn't care anymore. This conversation, I mentioned the roach message, and she's like, or rather, the one that she thought was a roach, and that it was actually a cricket. And I told her like that's her catchphrase, and I was like, "Oh, you asked me what I'm reading?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "I'll let you know." She's like, "Okay." Yeah, I can tell you just didn't care anymore at this point with her. But toward the end, those are the highlights. Toward the end, I said to her, if you had asked me, "Are you going to respond to me?" I would say, "Of course." And then she puts her hands up and she's like, "Okay, are you going to like keep going with this?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Gets up out of her seat and walks away. And I thought to myself, how is it that a woman who comes up to me, like I'm sitting out here reading my book, not bothering a soul, comes and sits by me and is rude as hell, staring at this phone while I'm trying to speak to her, gets to like get up, storm away, and be pissed. Like, how does that work? Also, during this conversation, I told her that I would not send her any more messages, and like I'm not stupid. I know you guys think I'm dumb, but just because I'm a college dropout doesn't mean I can't take a hint. That was also something I said. Uh, I don't want. I guess I should throw it out there. Very unhinged person and weird. So we have a thing where if you ever feel like someone is doing something to you, you can report them. Um, you can be like, hey, oh no, Jem, listen to me. We have this thing where you can call up this, and they'll do like their investigation, whatever. So today I'm driving, and I get a call from a number, and I'm like, oh no. And like I know, as in my heart of hearts, whatever people, stupid idiots online say about me, I know that I'm not this evil monster that's like trying to corral chicks. So I answer this number, and it's a lady I've spoken to before, and she tells me that someone came forward and said that when I spoke to them on Sunday, they were being recorded by me, and I was like, okay, let's drop the pretenses. I know who you're talking about, and I say her name, and I say there is no recording. But secondly, I don't understand how you can approach someone, come to where they are, and then try to pretend as if they're bothering you. And the lady said that they have the incident on video where it corroborates my story that she came up to me, right? And then like, got up, stormed away, and that was it. And she said that I would not face any type of like repercussions. There's not going to be an investigation. That everything I said checks out. And sure enough, no one at my job has said anything to me because I know how they do. They send you in that office, not one word. Uh, but I stood my ground, and I told the lady, I said, this is a consensual. Um, well, dude, I'm not. Forget the warning. Like I knew she didn't have anything on me, but I was saying this is a consensual interaction between two adults where in our final conversation, I told her I was done with her, and I said I'm willing to show you screenshots, um, where you got this person talking to me, and I said I have proof of everything I claim. I This was someone was led to believe was friends with me, and we had a falling out and a reconciliation, and I thought things would get better, and I realized that they were just kind of like stringing me along, so I communicated to them on Sunday, hey, look, this is going nowhere, and I told her my theory that this was like retaliation, right, for me saying like I'm done with you, I'm not going to send you anything else. To think she would do something like that to you, that must have been completely out of spite. Well, that's my theory because you realize this isn't actually about harassment. You're saying that somebody was recording you and you felt uncomfortable, but as they saw in the video, she only got up after being upset by what I was saying and after sitting down with me for pretty much her whole damn break. Man, those cameras, isn't that ironic that like you're gonna accuse me of recording you, but then the actual cameras recording us show you approach me? Like I'm just sitting here, this is me, and then all of a sudden I hear a voice, I look up, and she comes to sit by me, and then that's how we get the exchange that we did. Listen, I'm gonna just say this. I felt like, hey, God, I'll get made fun of. I don't even care. I felt like someone just reached right into my chest and just ripped it out because in the 4 months I've worked there, in all different jobs I've had, there's only been one person that I have tried in any type of like aggressive way, and really not aggressive because I just like point blank ask you, you busy? You want to do this? To hang out with. And it's crazy to have a person who, for months, plays up this idea that they like you. They like speaking to you. When they're on break, they're smiling. How are you? When they come in, they're waving at you as recently as literally this past week. And when they get upset that you catch on to their game, which is that they only talk to you when you're at work, they're not giving you what you would like. Um, they retaliate against you. Well, of course, I started to feel it was fake as well. I'm just saying that when I voiced that concern to her, she didn't want to hear it, which is why she got up and stormed away. And again, I had no problem with that because I was done with her anyway. But to go back because again, I was told about this today. The report was made on Monday, so this means that within 24 hours of that, you know, one-sided argument, conversation, whatever, uh, she did this. So all I can say is I'm just glad it didn't work out the way that she apparently thought it would. I had proof. I said, you know, this was a consensual interaction between two adults, one of whom led the other to believe they liked them. And you know, I was very serious about actually just, you know, being friendly towards this person, and they betrayed me. It's like you being punished for existing in a way. That comment was like the prelude for basically a train wreck of an interaction with that person. You know, my theory is that because I said it's, well, Jedi Master says, well, most of them don't think like adults, especially this new generational wave. Things are getting worse. My theory is that if I had continued to just not speak to her, this wouldn't have happened. And I think in talking to her again and sort of, you know, trying to make it work, but also noticing how much she kept pushing me away or keeping me away, that was like too much for her. So she tried to, uh, you know, basically get back, like, again, do something out of spite. Okay, you don't want to talk to me? Well, I'm going to say you were recording me, because she can't say, "Oh, he touched me," because we've never interacted outside of working there, and they have no video of me, you know, touching any damn body. Can't say that, you know, you were being messed with by him, because they have the video where I'm sitting at this table and she comes up to me. So I'm just glad that the person that they, you know, that took this stuff seemed to be on my side, and it appears that their attempt to destroy me didn't work out too well for him. I just want to know, where does the hatred of hers towards you manifest from? Well, that's why I think chicks are some of the worst people that ever lived, because you would never see me work somewhere, and let's say I have an argument with a coworker, but it's like you're never going to see me approach somebody and sit next to them. I got all these chairs I can sit in. I sit next to them. And as they're telling me about whatever stuff that I'm doing that they don't like, I'm staring at my phone almost the entire time that we speak. And then after they say something I don't like, I get up, I rage quit, right? Jump up out of my chair like a child, and then try to get them in trouble. So that's what I believe. Like, the hatred manifested really quickly. Like, you go from willingly sitting next to somebody on Sunday to trying to get them in trouble on Monday. It's, you can't make this up. And I'm telling you, like, the person like tried to do the anonymous thing. I said, I know what you're talking about. I don't talk to anyone else there in any non-work related manner. Like, I'm not even, supposed to be funny. That place has over a dozen plus chicks that work there. That was the only one I have the phone number of, and have tried to hang out with, and have sent multiple messages to. There's like one other lady that I spoke to just to see if I could pick up like work. That's it. Like, I that's why I said in the video, I was like, why is, and I made literally video's whole script was done Thursday and finished this morning, like uploaded this morning. And then this afternoon I got that call. So this was like a thing I just found out after doing the video. We can't disclose who came forward. Oh, once I said the name, all the pretenses were gone. Like, I told them that if you don't believe me, I have screenshots. Um, this was someone that I held in high regard up until a few weeks ago, where I was over there sad that she wouldn't speak to me. Now I don't give a damn. I was treated so poorly that I had a character arc. Man, I really thought if you asked somebody to go see a movie with you, the worst they can say is no, right? No, it turns out the worst they can do is just unimaginable. But I agree with Jem. It was very nasty of her. And you know what it is? It's that same like spit in your face type thing. That wasn't even a gift. That was just a drawing with her catchphrase on top of it. And that my favorite part in that interaction today with that lady was where I was like, hey, because I was like, oh, she said, you've been sending these messages. Like, well, I haven't sent her anything in almost a week. And actually, the last message between us was sent by her. Like, I didn't even respond to it because that at that point I was like, yeah, this is stupid. So they were on my side, and it felt nice to just the evidence was like so overwhelming that this was someone that was willingly engaging in these back and forths with me, and then like all of a sudden just wants to turn or pivot, and it didn't work out too well for her. Yeah, but it is a very accurate depiction of what she is like. Her word means nothing more than a counterfeit. I'll let you know. Dude, remember her interest in me is as real as a $3 bill. You'll never see a $3 bill in America. They have $1, $2, 5, 10, 20. You will never see three. Going as liars is what she wants to go as. I'm not even kidding. Like I really just I felt like I'm gonna let you know on this. I was mentioning this when the stream started. I ate at 4 in the morning yesterday, and then I didn't eat for the rest of the day. Um, and I found out about this at like 1 o'clock, one something. I think that was a part of it. Like I literally lost my appetite from the idea that you could have someone who sits here for months acting like they like you, and then even after you have like this falling out, they still seem like they want to. I mean, you saw the message in the video, the cry face emoji. It's okay. Let's pretend it never happened, and how quickly she just like tried to turn the clock back. And I was willing to go along with that until I saw how much she kept doing this to me. So I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to send you anything else. I realize you don't like me. This is stupid. And in after that interaction, one day later you get this and it's a coincidence. Nah. She pivoted her stance so quickly. God, man. You better believe I'll never ask another coworker to hang out ever again. Certainly not a woman. Like they just get more and more dangerous and brazen and crazy, and I just don't have the patience for it. It is bloody scary. Uh, but again, I once I started actually speaking to the person and show and like communicated how insane it is to say, because I said like, okay, let's pretend I'm this big creepy man. Why would she go up and sit next to someone that is bothering her? How do you explain that? And they couldn't. I would have been very scared if I, out of the blue, got a call about someone making a report on me when I know for sure I haven't done anything. I'm not kidding. Like, the first thing I thought of was her because I said, there's no one else there I talk to, in regards to like trying to make plans together and hang out and having this like kind of combative relationship at times. Uh, oh no, man, they record everything up there. They saw me sitting out there reading my book, looking all studious, and then this little lady comes up to me. What are you reading? They don't have audio, but they see like the body language and her jumping up with her hand out like that. It's I said it's a good thing these people don't get their way. I would already been indicted. I was very scared at first. I calmed a lot. Like my fear turned to rage when I realized, who had said what and what all they were trying to allege. Like I really did not see that coming. The video was uploaded. The video you uploaded of that is a suitable title for this saga, a train wreck. I mean, I'm serious. Like if you told me that if I ask a woman to go see a movie with me, I'm gonna find out that she's not a call person, that she barely can respond to text messages, that she's not a very social kind of person, that she will say, I'll let you know, but then never actually let you know when you're going to talk to her. And then if she gets mad enough, she'll try to get you in trouble with your job. I would have been like, damn, that sounds kind of crazy. Just all that's going to start for me asking somebody to go see a movie, but that's really what happened. That's why I said if you gave me the option of either talking to women or drinking bleach, I would say give me the bottle because that bottle, even if it kills me, it's not gonna smile at me. It's not gonna ask me, are you okay? Or any of that stuff. It's going to be completely transparent in the fact that it is a deadly chemical. These chicks are deadly chemicals. They will destroy you in a moment's notice. You can get in trouble for standing by a woman too close. It really did, man. I was debating if I was even going to share that, but I decided I would because I felt like people should like if you see me. I guess I'll put it this way: there was like a part of me that always hopes I can reconcile with someone that I liked, and I still would have described her as someone that I liked. Again, not in a romantic way, but just whatever. Now I can't even stand the sight of her. Like I don't say anything. I haven't seen her since this report got filed or whatever. I saw her on Tuesday, and we went back to how we were 2 weeks ago. And it's like I don't regret not speaking to her, especially after discovering this, because like I really thought we had this mutual understanding that we're both adults trying to work a job, and whether we have whatever personal stuff, we're not gonna like get in the way of the other person doing their thing. But it's like you would rather see someone destroyed over not talking to you anymore than okay, we just leave each other alone like this person said we would. Because I really thought when she started ignoring me after the movie thing blew up, I was like, okay, well, you know what? At least she's not trying to get me in trouble. So that's one thing. But it's like you have this really contentious conversation with me where you barely even halfway respond. And dude, like, I didn't even mention this. There's a part of that conversation on Sunday where I said to her, "You working on Monday? No. You working on Tuesday? Rather, you working on Monday? Yeah. You working on Tuesday? Yeah. Oh, me too. You working on Wednesday? No. Are you busy? Yeah." And like when I heard that it was like the self parody thinker, right? Because it's like you're not even going to try and pretend that you're busy even on the days where you're not actually busy. You're just going to say you are, and I'm supposed to just believe it. And like I mocked her. I said, "Yeah, you're so busy. If it weren't for those cameras, you may have thought you weren't telling the truth." Well, look, I wasn't too concerned about because dude, they have cameras everywhere there, and I don't see her outside of when I'm there, so it's not like you know you could say, "Oh, he met me here and did this to me." It's really a matter of having a conversation that started off friendly that didn't end well, and then you trying to like get me back in spite. Uh, and damn, man, I felt like vomiting after that conversation. Unfortunately, we just can't have nice things. Just a genuine, friendly interaction, enjoyable for both parties. Oh no, they don't want that. They want to have you as their little clown boy at work that they can laugh at and giggle with, and then for the rest of the week, you don't even exist. And then if you voice any like frustration with this lack of, like an actual relationship with the person, you're bad. You're evil. And it's like imagine how much of a spit in the face that is to me. Like I showed the message in the video. Like I got on my metaphorical knees trying to like make this work, give it a second chance. And I saw how much she was playing with me. I said, "You know what? I'm not stupid. I've dealt with chicks before to do this." So I said to her point blank, "I'm not going to send you anything else. I realize you don't you're not interested." Uh, and I guess she was interested in trying to destroy me. That was one thing she was interested in. Man, it's just I'm still in shock. Like I know Jem is over there dancing in joy that he was accurate or right, but you spend all that time with somebody, you think they like you to at least some extent where they wouldn't try to screw you out of your position just because they get mad at you over something that's really unrelated to it, honestly. Uh, but they show you who they really are. Nothing but lying pieces of. I just like I said, man. I've never done this to somebody else. I've had people that upset me at jobs before. Maybe I didn't get along with them, whatever. But I've never like sat back and actually tried to have someone destroyed over my feelings being hurt. Well, that's why I said like all these guys they do like the whole try to make fun of like the first two comments on that video, the train wreck one, were I word, and then the other one's like I know, right? But in all seriousness, this stuff is dangerous. Like I want you to really think about this. The big sin I committed was asking a coworker if they wanted to go see a movie with me, and this was followed up by them blowing me off, which is out of my control. I feel getting rightfully upset by that. Them getting upset with me for being upset with them. 2 weeks of nothing. Me trying to reconcile with them because hey, I can't be mad at you forever. And then 2 weeks of being strung along with this. I'll let you know about if we're going to do this again. And me getting sick of that and saying, look, I'm not dumb. It's been a month. Nothing's changing. I'm finished with you. And then getting reported for supposedly recording this person. That's the trajectory. That's the ultimate result of taking a chance on someone. Really. I gotta tell you, it's just it's really scary to just how easily and quickly they can get you in trouble over. And they don't care. There's no consequence for them. You think if I came and said, "Oh man, this person they made me uncomfortable because they came up to me and they were like getting angry or whatever," like I'd get laughed at. But they do this to me and it's fine. There's no one's gonna get in trouble. Nobody's gonna get thrown out. And I even said to the lady, I said, I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble. That's why I don't call this number. That's why if something happens to me there, I usually just let it go. I think I told you I had a coworker who hugged me. And I like looked at her like, I didn't, what I'm saying? It's one of those things where I wasn't exactly that comfortable with it, but I would never in a million years try to, get somebody in trouble over that because I don't have it in me to try destroying somebody over things that are really just not that big of a deal, honestly. Like it's not in me. But it's in them. Telling you, it never stops with these people. Yes, absolute hatred in their hearts. Like I'm not even trying to be funny. I've never at any position I've been in, there have been people I have not liked at all of them, tried to get someone in trouble to the extent of like, hey, you're gonna get written up for this and you're gonna get reported for that. I've never done that anywhere. But of course, no good deed goes unpunished. And from as far as I can tell, she's gonna be there today. She was supposed to be there, at least the schedule said today, yesterday rather, but she wasn't. So I'm gonna do like I did a few weeks back and just not say anything. Uh, of course, it'll be much easier for her to not say anything because chicks don't ever have to be accountable for anything they do. They can just lie on people or make them sound like demons, and no consequence ever. And you say to yourself, isn't it sad that stuff has to be this way? Just that you have to like sit there and actually think that someone likes you, and then after after multiple attempts to just hang out with them, they don't say no ever. Not once did she say, "I don't want to do this." I'll let you know, and you get sick, but you say, hey, "Look, I want to do this with you, but if you don't want to do it, then I'm catching on to the fact that you don't want to do it, so I'm just gonna leave you alone." And they are upset by that. So right after having this exchange, within 24 hours, they try to get you in trouble. I don't blame you for ignoring them at work, Jim. I would ignore them if I anywhere I could, if as far as I can. Like, I'm not kidding. This is the only one that I have tried to have any semblance of I don't even like saying relationship, of a non-work relationship out of anyone that I've worked with, period. Only one that's had my number that I sent and exchanged stuff with. They want you to comply and play their silly game. Yeah. And if you don't, then I guess you just they try to punish you over it. They try to destroy you so they can derive enjoyment out of your efforts. Again, if anyone is confused as to why I don't like chicks, then there's really nothing else for me to tell you. Because I thought this was one of the good ones. I said, hey, come on, you got mad at me a few times. There's no way you're gonna like actually try to get somebody, as long as we're professional on both sides and no one's like actually doing something to you. But no, this was her way of trying to spite me. He was recording me. They record us all damn day, and you're gonna act like if I had my camera running, it's the end of the world. Man, I had so much proof against her. I felt like a lawyer in court. I was like, I have screenshots. You have that video, right? Her coming up to me. We were going out for drinks after work. Will you please join us? No, thank you. I would say the same thing because I don't drink. Oh God. That's why I had this toothache and I went to the dentist like in the earlier part of the day. It's like right after that call, I just stopped having the toothache. Like the toothache heard that call and was like, I can't mess with him anywhere near as much as that woman did. So forget it. It would like the call was so bad, the toothache just realized it had been outmatched in terms of its crappiness. It was like, yeah, this is a whole new level of messing with somebody. He sent me his cricket. None of this should be happening if she none of this would be happening if she had just said no. And that's my point. Like, dude, I've had chicks say no in the past. I don't retaliate against them. That's it. When they say no, it's over. Just like I made the joke of like, hey, how come you never offer me a ride? She basically said no to doing that. She didn't say no outright, but just kind of like, kept, I have all these problems with my car. Blah, blah, blah. It's like, okay, well, fine, forget it. So that was the end of it. There was no other mention of, oh, can I ride with you? Nothing. But when you sit here and keep trying to fill somebody's head with this trip of how, you know, maybe we can do this eventually. I'll let you know. And then, week after week passes with you not letting the person know. I just think you're just wasting the person's time and they have the right to catch on to that and then possibly say something. And really that's what this was about, that she didn't like that I'd caught on to her stupid game and was like, okay, I'm not playing this anymore. Like I outright told her I'm not going to send you anything else. We're finished. Yeah. Interesting that they haven't had to go back to that city to see those relatives anymore since the one weekend where she coincidentally agreed to go see a movie with me. Fascinating. And I'm telling you, I'm not like it was the week before I asked her that I just was like, "Hey, you doing anything on Saturday?" And she's like, "Oh no." And I was like, "So how is so? Wait, so this is how this goes, right? Before I asked you to go see a movie, you didn't have anything to do on Saturday. Now, when I ask you to go see one, you're busy every." I tell you, man, they were like poison. So when you told her that she retaliated against you, but what does she expect? Well, I tell you, it ended with her going like throwing her arm around me like, are you gonna keep like going at this and getting up and walking away? And I didn't chase after. I just sat there and I think I like left right after that. Uh but that was it. Oh man. What did I mess around? I feel like they'd be more reciprocal than the humans we see today. Oh, sometimes I wish there were other races besides humans like you. I mean, hey, they might be more receptive. Well, of course, one of those guys was short. Dude, I told you this. They do this every time I stream. Like, there's nothing better to do. Yes, completely useless. Just I tell you, they're always around to kick a man while he's down. That's literally their entire existence. These are the kind of people that if you played a soccer game and you lost by 1 point, they'd be like, "So you thought you were gonna win? Well, that point disagreed with you." That's what they do. Like when I was doing my what stream was that? The her new nemesis. It was like it's not enough to have this lady play with you, waste your time, start treating you like crap after doing that. Oh no, you also have to be insulted over supposedly being rejected. It's like I was rejected so much that she came up and sat by me without me asking her to or even saying anything to her. Impressive. Like literally she comes outside, sees me and speaks to me without any uh mention on my part. Yeah. So rejected. I wish she had. It would have been a lot simpler than what we ended up getting. The worst thing you could what is this? Oh man, you just can't win with these bastards. They have no standards. They do all types of screwed up stuff. They think the world revolves around them. It's really sad. Like just let me see. No, actually, the worst thing you can do to them is leaving them alone. Yeah, literally. Before I said I'm going to leave you alone, I didn't get any reports. I didn't have her saying I felt uncomfortable around him. We didn't speak for 2 weeks, and I heard nothing from anyone about. Oh, she said that because that's my point. That like once it became clear I wasn't going to put up with this nonsense anymore. That was when it was too much for her, and she decided to get her revenge in this manner. When I was willing to be strung along with the promise of possibly, hanging out, she had no shortage of me. Every time this lady comes, hi Justin. God, so I said her interest in me was as fake as her makeup. I just think it's so sad how much better things can be and how worse they are for like no reason. Like, oh, you want to go see a movie with me? Okay, well we can do it on Saturday, 4 o'clock at this theater. I'll drive myself. You drive yourself. You pay for your stuff. I'll pay for my stuff. We can split this thing halfway. How hard is that? Like how difficult is that? And then guess what? You don't like it. We have to do it again. If you like it, we can do it again in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Just set something up and then that's it. What about that was difficult? But again, because you're dealing with these crazy, ridiculous, out of their mind, Looney Tune chicks, you get one who says, "Oh yeah, I'll go see a movie with you." But don't call me. I'm not really a call kind of person. And I might have to do this thing on the weekend. I'm only telling you about the night before. And sorry, I'm not home today. But goodbye. You're mad at me for not going to see a movie with you, even though I said I would, and I stood you up at the last minute. Well, I'm mad at you too. Justin somehow would prematurely cut off a woman that would be interested in him by literally leaving them. Dude, I told you that like the worst thing about that particular broad saying that is that I spoke to her literally longer than like almost any of these chicks for like almost a whole year. So I said she had no room to say that. But I told you the prematurely thing is one of those nebulous terms they use to, I mean, like, it's pretty much this. I'm going to blame you no matter what happens with these stupid bastards. So I'm going to just invent terms that I don't define as a way of always making it your fault. So if Megumi speaks to a woman for a week and then he stops talking to her, he prematurely cut off a woman that was interested in him. If Megumi talks to a woman for 2 months and then realizes she's playing fit, wasting his time, he prematurely cut off a woman that was interested in him. If Megumi talks to a woman for 2 years and says this is going nowhere, she's over there playing with like 30 different guys, he prematurely cut off a woman that was interested. It never stops until you die. I should change the name of the stream to "They Want to See Me Fall" because that's all literally this whole thing. How long? How long is prematurely? Then there is no definition for it. It's literally any designation of time that you spend talking to some broad before. Like basically, she's saying you're not allowed to ever stop talking to a woman. You must speak to them for as long as they'd like, or else it's your fault if things go whatever type way. So I said I couldn't stand that stupid grifting broad and her. She's lucky I never revealed what she does now because it's an embarrassment. She is a joke, and everything that she does is a joke, and she will always be a big gag. I don't care how many kids she spits out. It's the truth. Act like having a kid is an accomplishment. You mean your perspective just changed, dude? It's not. It's not hard to dispute these people. Like my arguments about chicks are so ironclad that 90% of the response isn't even addressing what I actually say. It's like talking about my outfit or you didn't like my voice or some other thing that's irrelevant. Like it's not. These people are not difficult to break down. They're like the most they come at a tank with a toy gun like they're nothing. Hell, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if my little brother could take them down in a debate. Like they're not difficult. It's literally just defend chicks no matter what, always blame the guy, rinse and repeat. You've had one conversation with them. You've like spoken to them all. I still can't go over the guy in real life that was like, uh, you're not completely focused on yourself, and that's why you don't have anybody. I was like, what? Just that's why I said it's always your fault. Do they really think that they're saying something that has been said so many dozens times before? But I said to him, like, if you want to do this romance debate thing, you can talk to yourself. Like others have tried and failed to change my mind about these chicks because there's nothing to change. Until they change, my mind will stay the same. They're like poison. Man, I tell you, I will, as long as I live, I don't care if I work 50 jobs. I'll never try to hang out with any broad from any of them ever again. This backfired on me so badly. I mean, it's just, I'm astonished. And again, people normalize this conduct. They can go and report somebody and not face any repercussion for being liars that are trying to destroy another person's life. They can sit there and, you know, lead somebody on, whether you're talking about a romance or friendship, whatever. and not be called out for the fact that, like, okay, you're saying you don't like this person, but then why did you go up and sit next to him? Why did you sit there with him for, you know, 7 or 8 damn minutes? Like, what sense does that make? This is what they do. They no one criticizes them for just being all over the place, which is what they are. Like I said, when I wasn't speaking to her, I felt bad. I felt like I had been harsh, too mean. Maybe I should have been like more patient, but god damn was I right to just throw her in the dustbin. I wish I had stuck with my original choice. Anytime you try to show a little bit of compassion, remorse, belief that somebody can, if you give them a little bit of time, go past whatever screwed up thing they did, they just, like I said, I told you, you meet a new woman, it's like opening a window. Oh man, this looks like it's going to be somebody who might not do the same old stupid stuff. I think this will actually be something that could be decent. And then right in the stomach, you get that stab. It's the same thing each time. When that other broad, I called her Miss Revolving Door last year, we were having these hours long calls. We had this stuff in common. I didn't have other people. Like, yeah, this is great. I like this. I like her. I can't wait to talk to her again in tomorrow or in a few days, whatever. She's typing stuff to me. It's so much so that I'm falling asleep. She seems really interested in getting to know me. Great. And then guess what happens? Suddenly you're being ignored out of nowhere. And then you ask, oh, did I do something wrong? Oh no, my ex is harassing me. And then she's like, okay, I'm gonna stop ignoring you, I promise. And then guess what? Right after that, she goes right back to ignoring you. And then you leave her alone for months because you're like, this is stupid. I'm done with this. But then she resurfaces. And now it's like, oh, I can talk to you anytime you want after tomorrow. You're like, oh, great. Okay, we can catch up. And then all day you wait there, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, and you hear no response from her. And you're like, okay, maybe something happened. Maybe she got busy. Give her benefit of the doubt. Hey, are you gonna? I see you online on Discord. Piscord. Hey, are you gonna like talk to me? Hello, 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 and then you get unfriended. And you're like, okay, that's it. No more goodwill. Video's coming. The video gets released. Even though you've never seen anything bad about her on her channel, she blocks you on her channel. So then when she's talking about you without saying your name, you do a video about the comments from there. And then she sends you a friend request on Piscord, finally reveals the real reason she's been ignoring you because of her overly jealous boyfriend, and promises that you will speak to her again at some point, only to, during a text conversation after that, say her boyfriend's telling her either block you or he's done with her, and she agrees to do the former. And it's like, what was that? What the hell was that? Like, what did I just experience? So I said, shit. If you go and watch an episode of Looney Tunes, that's pretty much what modern women are. Just like dumb. Like, what was that? And again, you want the chronological situation with this other one at this job? Meet this lady in, like, I think it was either November or December. You get along with her, you speak to her here and there, whatever. She's kind of like mysterious in her own way. And you say, you know what, I like speaking to her. I think I'll ask her if she wants to go see a movie. Why not? Somebody they don't want to do it. That's it. Whatever. Nothing too big. And then she says yes, and she says yes so readily to where she doesn't even know what the damn movie is. You're like, yes, great. You're dancing in joy, right? And then all of a sudden, you notice that she didn't respond to that message you sent her. And you're like, okay, that's a little bit weird. Whatever. We can work past that. Oh, you're not really a call person. Okay, that's kind of bizarre, but I've never met anyone in real life that doesn't allow me to hear their voice over the phone, but whatever. Okay, so then you're like, okay, hey, over the weekend we can hang out, right? Oh, well, my relatives are, I might have to go with them, to go see them on the weekend. Like, okay, why would you tell me that the day before? Okay, whatever. Maybe that's just like a thing that might not happen. And the next day, hey, hour before, are you home? No, sorry. You're like, you just wasted my time. I deleted my entire schedule for this day for you for nothing. So you're pissed. And then she's like, well, you're upset. So I guess I'll be upset too. And then 2 weeks go by of just no one saying anything to anybody. And you're like, I don't enjoy not being able to speak to you. Can we reconcile? Oh yes, let's pretend it never happened. And then you're speaking to her again. You're like, hey, so you actually want to hang out this time? Oh well, oh yeah, I'll let you know. And then you give them the benefit of the doubt. A week passes, you hear nothing. Hey, so you do anything on next Saturday? I'll let you know. And then week passes, you hear nothing. And then it's Sunday of the next week, and you're like, look, lady, I'm not stupid. I may be a college dropout, but I know when someone is not interested in me, I'm not going to bother you anymore. Are you going to like keep going at this? And she gets up, walks away from you, like, all right, whatever. Angry little broad. Next day, hello, who's this? Oh, we received a report that you were recording your coworker, and they felt uncomfortable. You're like, huh? Really? This is the damn conclusion to asking somebody if they want to go see a movie a month ago, being led on for that long. Just ugh. So I said, these chicks, you can have them. That was the end result. Well, I don't know what she's on, but she's definitely on my enemies list after doing that thing this week. Like there's very few things you can do that just make me through with you, but that's one of them. There's no coming back from that. When is this saga ever end? It doesn't until you either stop speaking to chicks entirely or die. Those are the only two conclusions. You know, I'm really tired of people who don't have channels trying to tell me what I can do on mine. So, Vince, I'm going to let you know this up front. I can talk about whoever the hell I want, whenever the hell I want, as many times as I want. And if you don't like that, you can get the hell off my channel. If you have a problem with my leadership, you can get lost. He needs to stop talking about it. Then stop watching me. And then you won't have to listen to me say anything ever again. It's that simple. And try to tell me that one of these bastards can sit here and try to destroy me, but I'm not allowed to speak about it. Make it make sense. Like, what's the logic of that? I'm not reading anything else you write. You write too much stupid stuff. You can talk to other people in the chat. That's why I took my glasses off. Like I'm not even gonna read anything else you type. That's it. Yeah, and it's like, what is the point of doing that? Like, if somebody did a stream and they're talking about something I'm not interested in, I would just not watch it. I really don't see how that works, but I already noticed he was saying a lot of goofy. That's what he does. He literally just shows up every like 2 or 3 months to write weird stuff. That's his whole gimmick. Literally like an entire existence of just yeah, might as well be. Yeah, so random. Like, just get lost. I'm very serious when I say if you have a problem with my leadership, you don't have to watch me. I will shed no tears. I will not be depressed. In the span of the last 10 months, I have been homeless. I have been working some job where I'm worried about being able to pay for my stuff. The last thing on my mind is any like hypothetical lost viewers on this stupid site. So sorry. Again, if you have a problem with my leadership, simply stop watching me. That's all you have to do. I'll understand, and I'll just go and do my own thing. It's fine. It's fine. That I would I will not complain if you don't want to watch. Pretty glad he was okay at first, but start at the that's what they do, man. They always try to like hook you in. They know they're saying weird stuff. That's why they start. It's like when that one guy was like, "Do you play World of Warcraft?" Like I did in the past. Have you ever done it with a woman? It's like it's weird, man. It's weird. But these people transform very quickly. Yeah, they just their whole existence is basically going into a chat, writing weird stuff, and seeing how long it takes before somebody just gets tired of them. And I just don't have the patience for it. And I said before, if anyone has a problem with what I talk about on my channel, they can just watch another one. There are literally millions of people on this site. It makes no damn sense why I have to like capitulate and be specific to what site. It's just it's dumb. It's really stupid, man. Like I just no logic at all. God, it's like imagine somebody getting to like mess with you for a month, and then if you want to sit there and talk about it for a few hours, it's like along with other topics as well, suddenly it's too much. Because I was ready to do my video and be done with but it's like this literally happened right after I made the thing within the same day or span of hours, rather. It's like the Wild West sometimes when it comes to the internet. I'm aware of that. Trust me. But it shouldn't be like that in real life too. Well, I never knew you couldn't talk about what you wanted to talk about on your own channel. And dude, I swear, like I watch other people and I don't see this. Like nobody goes on ESPN's channel and says, "You guys talk about sports too much. I want to see something about the economy." Nobody goes on CNN's channel and says, "You guys talk about the news too much. I want to see you playing golf." Like it's where do they come from with this? It's funny if you listen to a lot of like rappers and singers that have been around for like 20, 30 years, they're all still singing and rapping about the same things. Like some of them release songs that could have come out 10 or 20 years ago because it's literally like the same stuff just over and over. And again, nobody complains. Nobody says, "Oh, this is redundant. This is outdated. We've seen this before." That's why I said they never go away with this nonsense. It's really sad. No, I have no regrets about the conversation because I think that I was just done with her. I was just tired of being strung along. Because because I've had chicks do that to me in the past, but normally it's not one that you're just trying to be friends with. Like it's usually that romance stuff. And I think she wasn't able to handle that and decided to retaliate. Uh, that's why I said I can never you can like, and this is why we had this conversation and we'll have it at some other points as well probably, where people will talk about, "Oh, if you want to get with a woman, you have to go and work on yourself and become this." But honestly, like when you see stuff like this, where somebody's got the same job as you guys are making the same amount of money, whatever, you get where it becomes harder to believe, especially after you've been talking to this person now for weeks, week after week after week, that you're ever going to get to a point with one of these people where you actually trust them, where you actually think that they have your best interest, that they care about you. Because look at how quickly somebody can go from wanting to supposedly, you know, spend time with you to just throwing you under the bus. Like you trust them? I don't. What if she was treated the way how she treated you? Oh, she would be the first one shedding tears. I tell you, if I went and agreed to see a movie with her and then backtracked or reneged or you know played around, nobody would defend me. How would she react? Would she be excited and happy, or be able to get over and forget anything happened? You saw how angry she got from just me not speaking to her. Like me not speaking to her for one day led to her not speaking to me for 2 weeks. So these people clearly, if they get even like a microaggression, it's too much for them. And really, I was trying on Sunday to just like directly tell her, hey, these are the things you've been doing that have been bothering me. And she just wasn't receptive to it. I didn't yell at her. I didn't scream. I, had her like do her, her thing, but that was the extent of it. Damn, did Jim leave? I think he did. It's whatever. I know he's busy. If she can't consider your feelings, the feelings won't be her feelings won't be considered. And that's the point I made. I said this person is not considerate of me, so why should I be considerate of them? Like, what's how is that fair? Spoiler alert: it isn't. Oh man, I'll tell you, every time you think you've reached rock bottom with them, it goes further and further. I tell you that like I really don't want to ever try being friends with any female coworker ever again, because who's to say we don't get a repeat of this? I've got right now the same one that hugged me about 2 weeks ago. Um, saw her yesterday. She was like doing her little play punch thing and referred to herself as my best friend, which just it's just weird. But like as I'm sitting there, I'm thinking to myself, I guess she's trying to like be friendly, but I can't help but think about, are we really going to see another repeat of what just happened over the course of this previous month with this other one? Not on my watch. That's the crazy stuff. Where does it end? It truly baffles me, man. It doesn't until you die. That's the only time it concludes. Vince was writing comments so stupid. Even Butt Muncher 45 was like, "Come on, man." And when you've been upstaged by him, or what was the other guy, Ball Cruncher 666? You've really lost something. Those some low tier comments. me see. Wasn't he the guy who came on one of your streams talking about you getting passport? He came on some other stream, like, asking why I wouldn't date a homeless woman and how I was selective because I wouldn't date a homeless woman, even though I've never said I'm against dating a homeless woman. It's literally the fact that most homeless people are men that precludes me from being able to just go out and find one. It's just stupid, man. And why the hell do you have to date somebody that's homeless if you're having a difficult time? It's just like it's dumb stuff, man. It's like, hello, man, that's having a hard time getting a date. Date a woman who is in jail. Like, why? Just have this debilitating condition, position, whatever, and uh, that will make you more likely to get with her. I guess I don't know. It's weird. I tell you, everybody's got the insta fix. Just snap your fingers. This changes. So many of them have come on this channel to keep track, but yeah, that's an unrealistic fix. But you get my point of like, why do I need to date a homeless woman? Like, why do I have to do that? Like I said before, I've never had wealth as a factor in me being attracted to a woman. I either like the way she looks or acts, and that's it. But why would I have to like go out of my way to date a woman that doesn't have a place? Like it's just weird, man. Would you date a woman that lives in a van? Like, I guess, sure. Just very weird. I tell you, they get an idea in their head and they just roll with it. Like the whole world just shuts off for that one idea. Do you think I'm kidding? I'm still like in shock that people act this way. Like you can't tell who likes you and who doesn't because the people that claim to like you on Monday will stab you in the back on Tuesday. So get ready for it. Bipolar behavior. Oh, you know what? I think I told you there was a woman that had like a nose ring and she told me to leave her alone or something. I was helping her clean up because she so I was pissing her off. That same one, what I did was for a whole month, I didn't even talk to her. Just, you know, not even say a word to her. All of a sudden, she started acting friendlier. That's I think I had like a streamer I mentioned like every at both this job and this other one I had, there was like there was always like this woman who's aggressive for like no reason and they have a nose ring and how that like this one was I was like trying to help her clean something and she just got mad at me. It was weird, but I left her alone for like a whole month and all of a sudden she started acting kinder and gentler. I tell you, man, they have it's like they have these strings on their backs that get pulled, and then once the string is pulled all the way, they revert back to being whatever the opposite of their original personality. It's crazy. Like, and man, even the one manager that was like, I think I mentioned only said hi to me once in 3 months. All of a sudden, said hi to me the last two times I was there. It's like, what happened? like how is it that the same week where you get this broad who was nice to you for all these months now suddenly turning into just your new nemesis, the manager who literally only said hi to you one time in 3 months is now speaking to you. Like, I'm done. Everybody's affiliation seems to change overnight. It's very fickle behavior. You don't know who to trust, what to believe. I told you I half expect to go outside and find the sun facing like on the ground, and then the ground on the sky. Like it's all backwards. We're going as friends, right? No, as liars. We're going as friends, right? No, as propagandists. We're go- we're going as friends, right? No, as fake victims. I'd honestly just leave these people and not even consider talking them apart from it if it's something. Oh, trust me, that's what I've done. Literally, this, I'm not kidding when I tell you, in the 4 months that I have been there, this is the only one that I let my hair down with. And guess what? When that knife went through my back and pierced my chest, I said, to hell with the rest. I almost would like to make a. You remember the original Final Fantasy VII Aerith death, right, where she's like this, and then Sephiroth just comes from the sky, and right in that's me. Like I'm just like this, praying and hoping that this lady will be decent and nice and not act like whatever. And then all of a sudden, I get that knife, that big blade right through my chest. So that's I want to make my own version of that with her, where it's just I'm sitting there just like this, my eyes closed, and in my moment of fragility, they put a knife right through me, a blade right through me. Too much weird stuff, and it's even scary thinking about it. Accurate contrast to this. I remember at the end of Terminator 2, I know why you cry, but it is something I can never do. When that guy was talking about he called dibs on that woman, I'm like, I know why you approach, but it is something I can never do. Hey, we know why I can never do it. Too much bad luck. That romance curse, and then the romance curse is so bad that you can just want to be friends with a broad and like still get screwed. It's like it's a plague, man. That thing never stops. Like, oh my god. I might be wrong, but do you get a sense of comedy when interacting with them, or is just a joke being played out, knowing what the outcome will be, regardless of how hard you try? I truly didn't when I asked her to go see a movie, I was dead serious. But hey, let's hang out. Why not? Coworker, someone I like speaking to. What's the worst that could happen? And it was only after a few days and her not responding to my messages, I was like, okay, something about this is kind of fishy. Why hasn't she answered back yet? But I was serious about doing that with her. But when we got to these last few weeks, specifically this past week with her, and you're like, I'll let you know. It's like, okay, now it's a joke. Now it's a gag. And that's why in our last conversation, I treated her like she was a joke. I said, do the face. Do the she's like, what face? Like the one you did when I asked you if you would respond to my text message. It's like, no. I was like, why not? She's like, because I don't feel like it. It's like, oh, you're asking what book I'm reading? Yeah, I'll let you know. Okay. It's like at that point, it was just a gag. It was a parody. I didn't care anymore. It's like, what else do I have to lose? You already don't want to hang out with me, so we might. I told that's why I called the stream on Monday. Burning bridges. Not was it Monday? Yeah, burning bridges. She deserved that so much. She had it coming. Man, it felt nice after weeks of being like led on. It felt good to to her face, be like, just like when I did my video on the other one, and I was talking about she was ignoring me because her boyfriend was harassing her, and I was like, so because she has bad taste in men, I if knowing that she saw that, if they always say I did something bad, but why did it feel so good? Nobody can explain that. They say I did something bad, but why did it feel so good? And I do it over and over and over and over and over and over again if I could. And yes, I am quoting that Taylor Swift song. I was like, so she won't speak to me because her boyfriend is harassing her. So because she has bad taste in men, I have to. She sounds like she was so confused when you asked her that. She was like, what face? I was like, the one you made on Sunday when I asked if I send you a text message, will you respond? You know, dude, I will never get that image out of my head. It was like a smile, but also, I'm telling you, nowhere I've ever worked has someone just stared at me for like a whole damn 5 or 10 seconds straight, just from asking them a question. Like maybe somebody be like, I don't know. Let me go look at I've never just like my eyes to theirs. It was weird, man. That's why I said when that happened, I knew we were done. Because I'm like, it's not, that shouldn't be a difficult thing to answer. But for them, it is. Man, Jem is getting left in the dust. He wrote like he was dominating for a while, but now he's only writing like one comment. He must be really bored. He must be falling asleep, like some other people. But no, if I did something bad, why did it feel so good? I'd love to know. Oh, multitasking. So Jem, would you actually would say that Rice is your favorite Secretary of State? Because I am curious about that. That is like an actually interesting question I'm posing you. Like I'm very curious as to what your answer is. Yes, modern one. Oh, so modern out of probably like the post like Second World War ones, right? Like the last 50, 60 years, probably. Can you say that? It's hard to for me to think of someone I prefer. I think we might be in agreement there. I still think it is sad how you saw one of your coworkers who was in the car with another coworker seem to be enjoying themselves together in the car. I saw them again too after writing that. I think it was last. Um, it would have had to have been within the past week or so because I know that he was like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm not talking to you. Won't respond to my text message." And I had like a smile on my face, and then she was still working there and does still work there and said like hello or whatever. But I'm telling you, when I saw them, all I could think about was why am I not allowed to have even a semblance of like forget being a couple or any of the stupid stuff. Just like driving around with somebody, hey man, let's go over. Like the only person I've really been able to do that with that's my age is my childhood best friend, and it's like I mean, damn, it just sucks that when you like just to have stuff end up this way, like just to have a person you invest so much uh of your efforts into appeasing and being friendly towards and just I'm telling you when I brought up the car thing, she acted like she was under interrogation. Well, my car's a lot of issues too, and I and it's like I see this broad, I see this little tiny munchkin broad. She's not like super duper, like she's like 5'3", whatever. And like I see her get in her car, no problem, heading right into that thing, jumping right in there. And I'm like, why? Why? If I'm someone that you apparently are friends with, why am I not allowed to go in there with you? I point blank asked her 2 Sundays ago, are you afraid of me? No, what the hell? Because it's like, why this? If you're not, just weird, man. Just weird. That's why I said they're just they are like poison. I'm doing my impression of that thumbnail. Her actions don't match her rhetoric. Dude, we saw a woman scorn. I'm telling you, like I really was when they called me, I was like, there's nobody else this could be over because I don't talk to anyone else there. And that whole anonymity thing, it went out the window so quick. You should have heard my voice. I almost wish I would have recorded like that call because I was like just so outraged by the idea that someone would, call you their friend as late as a week or two ago, and now suddenly choose to retaliate against you. Because I made it very clear. I said, hey, look, this is a correspondence between two consenting adults. Um, and this piece sticks up like that, and any attempt by her to pretend like I was just being messed with, total garbage, total hogwash. Screenshots galore if you want them. You see here from the day you asked her out. I didn't ask her. I asked her to want to see a movie. She has been constant. No, I was surprised by how easy it seemed to get her to agree to go do that with me, and then we saw like all the nonsense that came afterward. But that's what they call red herring, right? It looks easy, and then it's like way more difficult than it appeared at first. Told you just can't trust these bastards, man. They just okay. Yeah, people just they're very disappointing. Sometimes it's like our most basic and natural functions as males has been suppressed to a level asking why do we even have these feelings? Sometimes I wish I could feel anything to I couldn't feel anything towards them. Yeah, because it's like, what's the point of chicks if you're afraid to be around them? You're afraid that one of them's gonna tell on you, try to get you in trouble, try to uh lie to you about what they want or don't want. Like I can't see anywhere any way in which I was benefited by asking her to go see a movie with me. Like I genuinely don't see where you can look at anything that happened over this past month and say this was a positive, this was a plus. You achieved something by doing this. I feel like I just had my time wasted, my character assassinated, and more blame thrown my way for stuff that really isn't my fault. I really just I don't see a benefit from this. Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. I told you, man, this is the a backwards era with a lot of crappy, terrible, horrible, worthless people, and uh, all I can say is I hope we don't run into as many of them from here on in because they seem to come in no short supply. Hey, you want to be friends with me, but I got not giving what I want. I only have one question for you. Where does the greed stop? The second I heard that, I was like, I have to stick this in something. I don't know what it is yet, but I'll put this somewhere. This will be added to some video. I will say this, however, when it comes to guys like you, Megumi, and a few others I've interacted with on this stream, it's good to have a general understanding. Well, I don't do the fake Playboy stuff. I don't come online and act like I'm drowning in women. They're all around me and so attractive. No, because the reality is most of those guys that come and write the "you're an I word" and getting a woman is so easy. They haven't seen a woman since they went and looked up a Playboy magazine. So it's like they're all coming on here pretending to be something because the internet allows people to just pretend that they're better than what they actually are, and they're trying to seize on what they perceive as someone's insecurity to enlarge themselves. How's that one song go? Make me feel tiny if it makes you feel tall. That's literally their entire ideology. Like the same people that'll talk trash about my attire will never show their face and all these magical beautiful clothes that they have. The same people that talk about how great and amazing these women are will never show you any proof that they're actually with any of the chicks that are so apparently easy to get and that they have this big surplus of. So I said, like, it's literally, I'm gonna do another video. It's not men versus women. It's not Justin versus women. It's lies versus people. Anyone that comes on here and tells you about the magic thing you can do to get with the one, they're lying. Anyone that comes on here and acts like it's so easy to get with one of them, they're lying. Anyone that comes on here and tries to make fun of you for not being with one of them, like it's so simple and you're alone and this strange character, they're lying. It's really easy to see through the veneer when you just stop and think about it. You're like, wait a second, that doesn't make sense to me. Okay, we've been going for 3 hours. Any further comments, statements, thoughts, concerns? I want to wrap this up because I am tired and I do have to work later today. I think, let's see, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. I got about 9 hours before I have to go in or I have to begin my journey. So, anything else? For some reason, so many guys like to try and condone for the stupid stuff women do and justify it constantly. Yeah, because they believe like it's this way. They don't want to have any kind of actual nuanced discussion about this. So it's easy to just call somebody, you're if you're having trouble with women, oh, you're attracted to other men, or there's something wrong with you. Oh, you're ugly. This is what they do. They don't want to think critically, so they just spit out things like children. They don't, it's easier to just turn your brain off and go with whatever they think the status quo is and actually apply any type of critical thinking towards this, unfortunately. I mean, they're free to do that, but I just don't have the patience for them. I'm waiting for Jim. I don't know what he's up to. Come on, anything else? I don't want to leave you hanging because I won't be able to do this on Monday. I'll probably still stream on Monday. I just don't think it'll be at this time. I'm good. No, Jem, you're waiting for that Condoleezza Rice documentary. Oh damn! If I made that, I'm just imagining. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, I was debating if I wanted to mention that, but I mean, I don't feel ashamed of my conduct. Like, I literally don't talk to chicks that often anyway, and it's like, I just want you to understand the one time in recent times where I lower my guard, I say, "Hey, this might get better. Maybe I've been too harsh. Maybe there's still a chance for something to improve." Right in the stomach every time. Hopefully, if you have a good rest of your day at work despite this awful call, thanks a lot for the stream. Sorry about all the crap. Yeah, well, I stood my ground. I said, "Listen, this is not this is not going to go the way that she wants it to because again, it doesn't make any sense to try and play victim when you yourself were being very rude first by sitting on your phone." And that's what I'm gonna do from now on when I do a stream. I'm not even gonna look at the cameras going like this. Just like this. This is just gonna be me. And it's not like, oh, I'm looking at the chat just like this. And then as you're typing stuff, I'll just like occasionally say something that is vaguely about whatever is being discussed. Like some one sentence answer. Like who the hell does she think she is? Lucky I didn't get up and walk away. I was disgusted by that. I said, how is it that we live in this era with all these phones? You have your phone on you all day long and you get in front of somebody you apparently like, and the best thing you can do is stare at that damn device when the person is talking to you? So rude, man. That's why I say I don't feel bad about making fun of her. My only regret is I didn't do it sooner. Like people get treat me like trash. I'm supposed to sit there and act nice to them. It's so stupid. She was just nasty, very nasty. It's not easy to carry conversation with them in most circumstances, to be honest. Yeah, because majority of the time they botch it. They botch the conversation reaction, crickets, and yeah, extremely disrespectful. You think I'm playing? She looked at me like maybe 3 times the whole time we spoke. It was just phone, 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 and then the ending. Are you gonna like keep going at this? Oh my god! I was telling you, man, these chicks, they just I'm speechless. Like I was shocked, rude from start to finish. But like I'm glad you enjoyed the stream, and I will be back. If not, I still think it'll most likely be Monday. But if not on Monday for some reason, then obviously definitely on Saturday, because I shouldn't have to work next Saturday. Who knows? They might spring something on me. So thanks for watching, Megumi, Gem, Jedi Monster. I mean Jedi Master. And have a good rest of your weekend.